Top 10 Natural Gas Producing Countries. Natural gas is a fossil fuel that doesn't regenerate and is a naturally occurring hydrocarbon gas that develops beneath the Earth's surface. For heating, cooking, and producing electricity, natural gas is used. Additionally, natural gas can be utilized to make plastics and as a vehicle fuel. The two main byproducts of natural gas oxidation are carbon dioxide and water vapor. Thus, while it technically still contributes to climate change when burned, it burns far more cleanly than other fuels like coal and oil. The top 10 nations that produce natural gas are listed below. Number 10. Algeria, 81.5 billion. Algeria produced more than 100 billion cubic meters of natural gas in 2021, an increase of around 24% from the previous year. Algeria's natural gas output increased by over 20.6 billion cubic meters between 1998 and 2021, peaking in the latter year. Despite being a sizable resource owner and producer of both oil and gas, Algeria's standing as a global exporter of hydrocarbons is deteriorating on practically all fronts. If this decline persists, the nation's fiscal balance and balance of payments would come under increasing pressure. But for the time being, the administration appears unwilling to take any action. According to the 2013 BP Statistical Review of World Energy, Algeria had proved oil reserves of 12.2 billion barrels at the end of 2012. After Libya, Nigeria, and Angola, it possesses the fourth greatest hydrocarbon reserves in Africa and the eighth largest in the Middle East and North Africa (MENA) area. After Libya and Angola, it produces the third largest amount of oil in Africa, ranking 8th in the MENA area. Number 9. Norway, 111.5 billion. Norway produced 114.3 billion cubic meters of natural gas in 2021, an increase of almost 2.5% from the previous year. The numbers increased by more than 29 billion cubic meters over the period under consideration. According to official figures released on Monday, Norwegian natural gas exports reached a record high of 128.4 billion crowns, $13.26 billion, in July as prices and demand in Europe soared in the face of disruptions to Russian supplies. According to Norway's statistics office, natural gas sales increased by 5.7% to 10.2 billion cubic meters, and revenue was 4 times greater than for July of the previous year. Following Russia's invasion of Ukraine at the end of February and a corresponding decrease in Europe's imports of Russian gas, gas prices in Europe skyrocketed. Number 8. Saudi Arabia, 112.1 billion. For the first time in 2020, Saudi Arabia's dry natural gas production averaged 11 billion cubic feet per day, BCF/d, a 30% increase from 2010. Saudi Arabia's associated natural gas production has decreased as a result of the oil production decreases brought on by the OPEC Plus agreement in December 2016. Natural gas produced as a by-product of oil production. However, due to the growth of non-associated or stand-alone natural gas fields during the past 20 years, the nation's overall natural gas output has increased consistently. Saudi Arabia's production of natural gas from non-associated gas fields climbed from 0 in 2000 to 46% of the total in 2020. The state oil firm of Saudi Arabia, Aramco, started giving non-associated gas fields, largely offshore, development priority in 2016. To assist satisfy rising domestic demand, Saudi Aramco's strategy includes plans to develop more non-associated natural gas, including unconventional resources, and to further expand natural gas reserves with new reservoirs close to existing fields. Number 7. Australia, 142.5 billion. In Australia, gas production has been steadily rising, Figure 5 and Figure 6. This is mostly caused by the Australian LNG industry's quick expansion, which includes several projects on both the west and east coasts. The Northwest Shelf basins as well as the Gippsland and Cooper basins produce the most conventional gas, whereas the Bowen and Surrey basins provide the most condensate gas, CSG. The Northwest Shelf's gas-producing basins, Northern Carnarvon, Bonaparte, and Browse basins, produced 4,051 pj of gas annually or 65% of Australia's total, 3.60 TCF. The Bowen and Surrey basins produced 1,608 pj of gas in 2019, approximately 26% of the total, 1.43 TCF. Number 6. Canada, 165.2 billion. In terms of the total energy produced from fuels in Canada in 2018, natural gas ranked third, accounting for 22.3% of the total. In contrast, natural gas produced 17% of all fuel-based energy in 2013, representing a growth rate of roughly 1.06% each year, with lower amounts generated in Ontario and New Brunswick. Canada's conventional natural gas is mostly produced in the Western Canada Sedimentary Basin, WCSB, in British Columbia, Alberta, and Saskatchewan. The main sources of unconventional natural gas are in northwest Alberta and northeast British Columbia. Number 5. Qatar, 171.3 billion. The volume of natural gas produced in Qatar in 2021 was almost 177 billion cubic meters. Where feasible, the statistics, according to the source, represent standard cubic meters, measured at 15 degrees Celsius and 1,013 bar. The figures are not always equivalent to gas quantities stated in specific national terms because they are directly calculated from metric tons of oil equivalent using an average conversion factor. After Iran and Russia, Qatar has some of the greatest natural gas reserves in the world. The majority of its reserves are found in the offshore North Field, which it shares with Iran and is a portion of the world's biggest natural gas field. Number 4. China, 194 billion. China utilized an average of 35.5 billion cubic feet of natural gas per day, BCF/d, in 2021, more gas than in any previous year. China produced unprecedented levels of natural gas in 2021, but it also consumed more than half of that amount domestically. China produced 56% of its domestic natural gas in 2021 from discrete gas reservoirs and related natural gas from oil production. 44% of China's domestic natural gas output in 2021 came from the production of tight gas, shale gas, and coalbed methane combined. These initiatives were sponsored by numerous government subsidy schemes. A crucial component of the government's plan to secure the domestic supply of natural gas in China is the development of natural gas from sources that employ hydraulic fracturing. Number 3. Iran, 250.8 billion. Iran natural gas production. Marketed production was 118.900 cub/mmn in December 2021, according to OPEC. From the prior estimate of 630.000 cub/mmn for December 2020, this represents a rise. Iran natural gas production. OPEC. Marketed production data is updated yearly, with 62 observations covering a period from December 1960 to 2021 and an average of 200.000 cub/mmn. The statistics peaked in 2021 at 118.900 cub/mmn and hit a record low in 1960 of 960.000 cub/mmn. Iran natural gas production. OPEC. Marketed production data is reported by the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and has an active status in CEIC. Number 2. Russia, 638.5 billion. The volume of natural gas produced by Russia in 2021 grew by almost 64 billion cubic meters compared to the previous year, reaching 701.7 billion cubic meters. As a result, it was the world's second largest producer of this fossil fuel. In 2020, pipelines in Russia exported over 198 billion cubic meters of natural gas. Over 40 billion cubic meters of liquefied natural gas, LNG, were exported from the nation in that same year. Germany was the main recipient of Russian natural gas exports in 2021, making for roughly 24% of all shipments in physical terms. Number 1. US, 914.6 billion. Although December 2021 nearly tied the previous record for natural gas output set in December 2019, this year's average monthly production has surpassed all previous years. The 2.85 TCF average monthly output in 2021 surpassed the 2.82 TCF average monthly record set in 2019. The monthly average, however, was 2.89 TCF for the first half of 2022, which was much higher. It's because there's a record high demand for natural gas. Global natural gas demand last year reached a new high, beating the previous record established in 2019 by 3.3%, according to the 2022 BP Statistical Review. The main reason for the rise in demand is the conversion of coal-fired power facilities to natural gas. So this is the end of today's video. Do you enjoy it? Post your feedback in our comments section below and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more videos like this.